Hello and welcome to another Tales from a Professional Nerd. My name is Bryan Steele and I will be your nerd today and any other day that you watch one of my silly little shows. Alright folks, we are going to do this. So, Weekend Bryan. Let's, first off, let's hope, I'm going to go ahead and just put it out there. I hope that you're having a great day. Things have been weird. Things have been just all over the place, politically and socially and economically. The world has been strange lately. So I just want to put it out there that I hope all of you are doing well. And if you are not, that I hope whatever you're dealing with is short and that you overcome it with grace and without it causing too much permanent damage to you, your loved ones, or the collective area that you call home. There's a lot going on out there, and I have been told several times that occasionally I come off as flippant, and that because I try to stay very positive in light of extremely negative situations, that sometimes I come off that I don't care about those things. And I definitely do. I just, on a personal level, which just makes sense because we're going to the Weekend Bryan, I can't let that stuff get me down. I have too many people depending on me. I have too much going on to find myself paralyzed with the spiral of negativity that can happen if you've got a brain wired like mine. So what I try to do is I try to stay focused on the positive things that I can experience and the things that I can affect. I try to make the changes where I can, and I try not to inflict harm on others unnecessarily, if at all. But all that being said, I do hope you're doing well, and that if things are rocky, that it is a short, turbulent period. All right. That being said, let's continue with the Weekend Bryan on a personal level. Personal-wise, things have been going good. I had to spend way too much money getting a bunch of stuff on my car fixed last week. In fact, there's actually still another part that I need to get changed out. They ordered the part for me, but it hadn't come in yet, which is actually kind of good because I don't have a spare $110 to do the labor to get that part flipped out just yet. It's not making my vehicle hard to drive. It's one of those things where they're like, hey, if this breaks, it's getting close. If this breaks, it's bad. So I'll get it taken care of as soon as I get the extra scratch. But it might be a little while. Other than that, going to the gym, doing good. Animals are doing good. Weather has started to, I won't say normalize because it's not. One day it's 30 degrees in the morning, and then the next day it's 70 in the afternoon. We've gotten so much weird rain, and it's just all over the place. So I would love to say that it'll normalize soon, but I have no idea. Welcome to climate change, folks. Roll the dice. So that's pretty much it on a personal level. On a hobby level, I have started to put some stuff together, some assembly, and then I realized that I am out of my super glue accelerant, so I ordered some more. It should be here in the next day or two, because I have a bunch of models that I need to put together before I can start hobbying, and it's much easier for me to do that if I have some accelerant to speed that process along. But other than that, that's pretty much been all my hobbying, is just assembly. We'll get to painting here sometime soon. My good friends over at Monument Hobbies and our very, very good friends over at Tooth and Coats have supplied me with a lot of new paint for me to work with and play with. I already like their companies as far as like the stuff they put out, but now I've got access to a bunch of new colors. I've got at Adepticon I picked up the Magic Sauce, the thinning medium from Turbo Dork. So I've got a bunch of stuff that I'm going to get to test out here pretty soon. And I want to get a bunch of models put together to do so. So awesome. My charity piece that I'm working on for Gamehole Con. So half of it is going to be painted in a traditional style, and the other half is going to be painted in a very cartoony, very bright and hardline style. I am looking forward to working on that as well. I know I've got several months before that needs to be done, but I want to be able to do it. I don't want to rush it. I want to do it in the time and structure that it needs to get done, in order to make it worth someone's while, whoever ends up buying it at the auction. All right, so I think that's all the hobbying. Gaming now. Gaming, I have played. I've done a couple of some testing Warzone games for some new stuff that you'll hear about soon, I suppose. Playtesters are getting that relatively quickly. So I can't give away too much there, but there's some new things heading into playtest that I had to get on the board to make sure that my initial numbers were right, and they were, because I'm awesome. That was no hubris there. So yeah, I played a little bit of that. I was going to try and get a couple of games of Magic in, but things got a little turned upside down and wonky on the night that I was going to get the guys together. The big gaming moment, though, was this last weekend. I got to play for the first time. So one of my oldest friends and longest standing DMs, like he's been a DM. I think that he was my first D&D DM when I moved down to Lafayette almost 30 years ago. Him and my buddy Brian Carestas. But Carlos has been doing his world for probably 40 plus years at this point. But a lot of his games, you get a lot of characters from past games have influenced stuff that's happened in future games, or characters that in his old epic game that ended up doing like major super huge thing that became part of the history. We're seeing some of that now. So he started up a new game. His role is called Eurosha, and in his new Eurosha game, we are 10th level characters. It's a slightly higher campaign than I'm used to, so we are a little bit more powerful than what you would expect. But it's a bunch of seasoned role players, and we're kind of hitting the ground running as far as like plot in progress. So one of the things that he did, and I'm going to let you know, it blew us away. So this is the first session of a new campaign. We've been planning online for several months, and we're trying to figure out what our characters are, whose characters know each other. Let's set up some backstory, the kind of stuff that you would need to really do for a 10th level character. And so we get to Carlos's house, and his game room is in his basement. And so we head down the stairs, and several of us walk right past something without realizing it, because why would I look backwards? But we get to the table, turn around, set our things down, and I hear Travis go, "Oh my God," because in the corner next to the stairs, Carlos had built, over the last few months, a 28 millimeter scale. Donington Castle. Basically, this evil tower, kind of like the Tower of Mordor sort of thing. It's in real miniature, like D&D miniature scale. It takes up the majority of a card table as far as its footprint goes. It's like 1.5 to 2 feet wide at the base, and it goes up almost. I would say it's definitely 4 feet. It might be closer to 4.5 feet. But fully painted, fully like brick rolled as far as like the plaster goes, and he absolutely built it all by hand. There were like little flickering battery lights inside the windows. Apparently, we didn't get a chance to see it, obviously, because we haven't gotten there yet. It's the home of the big bad boss guy. But it's furnished inside. Like there's like four on this like a 7 or 8 layer tower. There's like 4 of them that are accessible for minis, like because he's planning on having scenes there, I assume. But he's like fully furnished them and painted the inside, and it is the D&D version of an epic dollhouse. And it absolutely blew us away. I put pictures up on my Instagram, so if you follow me, you'll be able to see it. It was the kind of thing that, I always want to do big stuff. I'll do occasionally cool terrain pieces and like maps, and I'll definitely paint minis and stuff for my games. But every once in a while, it's like there's that thing that's like, man, I really wish I would build an entire hedge maze. But I just never have the time or the energy or, frankly, the funds. So Carlos put this together over several months. It looks amazing. And, it's a weird dichotomy because there's a part of me that really wants to be able to get there with our characters so we can see what the inside looks like and play and, role play inside this massive thing that he's built. But then there's that part of me that's like, yeah, but I also don't want to see him have to be done with it. Like there needs to be some anticipation. And I don't want the campaign to be, up to the end already because, we're having a great time. But all that being said, so that set the stage for the game itself. But the actual game was a lot of fun. Several players are playing characters that they have played in previous games. I am not. My primary Yorosha character would be several hundred years old at this point, and he was a half orc, so he would not have survived this long, likely. So me playing him would have been weird. So I made a new character. I am a kind of effete drow noble duelist. Definitely an elitist. Definitely on the side of, elves have been around a really, really long time, and everybody else is kind of just sort of living in our space. But yeah, I had a blast with him. I definitely think that the interactions between the characters are going to be, far more exciting than any kind of combat. 10th level game combat, we're gonna do a lot of damage. We're gonna do a lot of things. We have a lot of spells and stuff that we have access to. But I think the best part of this group is going to be our interactions toward the plot, which we learned originally. We thought that it was just to go kill some big vampire dude, but we have since learned that there is a imagine like rings of power sort of thing. There's a handful of these items, and if they come together, it's a massive thing. And if you own one, it's a giant boon to you and your people. We learned that one of these are in play, and for my character in particularly, as the duelist champion of a house not in exile or not failing, but a house that definitely used to be on top and got shoved down by the houses that give Drow a bad name. If my character can get my hands on it, and bring it back to our house, that's the kind of game set match type artifact that can really sway things politically or otherwise. And in the terms of Carlos's world, those are the kinds of events that he turns into major campaign moments. And then the next time that someone runs Eurosha, or the next time he runs a game that's after this one, whatever we've done will reflect. It's really cool, and I'm really excited to see more about it. Not to mention that particular crew of people that I'm playing with. These are all guys that I either haven't played with in a long time or have been playing with for a really long time, and it feels very much like the OG crew. You know, it's awesome. Very happy. But that's pretty much all my gaming. Work-wise, man, work is never ending. I can't. Warzone's doing great. We're still working on trying to get all the Kickstarter stuff out the door so we can then move on to the next facet of the business and all of that stuff. Definitely more to come on that. The Shadowrun novel, I haven't gotten any words down on it in a couple of weeks, which is making me crazy. But it's because I've got several small deadlines that I have got to just, tick off. Having 2 conventions back to back really took a big chunk out of my extra time abilities. So I am now going in and finishing things up. I just finished a thing for Evil Genius literally this morning. And before I start the new one there, I've got to step into the manager role and do some orchestrating of things before I start writing another Evil Genius thing. There's just a lot. There's just a lot going on, and it's all awesome, and I'm very excited to have the ability to do these things, but I do need to tick a few boxes and get a few things off my list so I can get back to the things that, while they do not have a pressing deadline, I don't want to lose momentum on them either. So just a lot of really cool stuff. Xeogenesis is getting ready to go to its crowdfunding campaign very, very soon. So I'll be excited to see what happens there and where we land on that. The World of Drashar, I just wrote a bunch of kind of cool story hooks for some of the monsters that I need to go in and make sure that Nathan is cool with. And we need to continue to work on the quick start guide for that. Still working with Fat Goblin Games and Gygax Inc. on some adventure type stuff, and a project called Morningstar that I am becoming affiliated with through Gygax and Fat Goblin. It sounds like I'm helping get things up and going and helping streamline some stuff, and just basically, take a very big and sprawling project, and figure out if there's some places that can be, tuned up a little bit during these formative years. But overall, just a lot of really good work stuff, but it's just never ending. And I need to, I've got 2 things. I'm looking at my calendar right now. I've got 2 things that need to be checked off, and then when they're done, I might not replace them with new stuff for a little while, so I can get some headway on these other things. Again, a lot of it also is just money. I need these freelance checks to be able to pay for things like car repairs and stuff. So who knows? Life is what life is. So let's take a look at what's today's actual, why you clicked on this, other than you just wanted to see my smiling face. So at Gamma, no, so it was Gamma, it was GaryCon. At GaryCon, Natalie and I walked past a booth that had a bunch of these little plastic dudes. And I was like, these are neat, these are cool tokens and stuff. And then I realized there's a game attached to it, that they're not just, you need a quick token for a map. They weren't just that, there was a game involved, by a company called Terrible Games, which I think is a hilarious name for a game company, by the way, and I will put a link to their website in the description of the video. but they had a bunch of this stuff sitting out, and they had a bunch of little like single thing like grab bags. And I was like, "What's this?" And I was talking to the guy that was there, and apparently later this year they've got a Kickstarter coming out for another set of expansion type stuff. But they had this original game, and the original game is called Terrors Battlegrounds. And it's just this cute little box. You'll notice it's still in the shrink wrap because I wanted to do a proper unboxing for him. It is a 2-player game. It's basically like a head-to-head style miniatures game that takes less than an hour to play. And he described it as kind of like skirmish miniature rules for the absolute on a simple level, just for fast fun, like whereas a couple of guys might sit down and play a game of Magic in 20-30 minutes, this would basically be like a head-to-head minis game that you just sit down and play. And I was so intrigued, by the little dude, the little tokens, but also just by like the concept of we're gonna make cool stuff and it's gonna be fun, but it doesn't need to be super deep, just kind of a beer and pretzels but miniature style game. And there's been some of those in the past, but they're normally pretty far and few between, and I loved the idea of them designing this to be specifically that. Not this is your streamlined game to get young people to play miniatures. It was just literally, it was like, no, this is a game that's designed to sit down, have a good time for less than an hour, and then go on and do whatever you want to do. We're all adults. We only have so much time. And, when it comes to low end, like investments on miniature games, even amazing games like Warzone Turtle, still have a buy-in of like $100. When you figure the rule book and your starter box, and then your like a unit to flesh things out. And, so this was just, I think it's a neat concept of minis game with like almost CCG style investment, if that makes any sense. So I went ahead and picked up the main box. This is the Terrors Battlegrounds box. It says ages 12 and up, 2 players, between 20 to 40 minutes. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open this box, literally for the first time, so you get the legitimate unboxing experience. And we're going to take a look at what's in this box, and we'll do a quick overview of the rules, but we won't spend too much time. This is more of an unboxing than a review. I will let you know what I think. And then after we're done with the main box, I also picked up a Season 1 faction surprise little envelope that's got a whole faction in here. It's got 6 token terrors and their talent card inside. Da, 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 da. And so, which we'll go to that in a minute. But the Kickstarter they're doing later this year is Season 2. So basically, it's got a bunch of new creatures. That's something about the little guys. I'll show you more little guys when I get this open. But there's basically a new series of guys for this game. And if I dig it, I'll probably back the Kickstarter, and then I'll tell you what's up. So okay, box. First off, very well put together. Let's go ahead and put this over here, so it's in the corner. Rule book is nice, slick paper, full color. Token Terrors was created by John DeCampos of Terrible Games in 2021. Okay, so this is a couple years old. I don't know how I didn't know about it. So in the Token Terrors Battlegrounds Season 1, we've got a little cool storyline thing. And then down in the corner it says, "Greetings, Warlords. I'm Dozin the Docent, your guide through the world of Token Terrors Battlegrounds." Let's get started. Token Terrors have power in numbers. Command your forces and keep tokens of the same faction close to one another to maximize their threat as you try to outwit and outfight the competition. Gain strategic advantages by using your token terror's talents to eliminate your opponent's forces and reign victorious. The contents of this box, there's 42 token terrors, 1 battleground board, 2 cemetery bags, 1 evasion die, 2 surge point dice, 6 token talent cards, and 12 sealed tactics and grudge cards. Which we're at that here. All right, so let's take a look at the components, and then we'll go through the book itself. So there's also oh my gosh, that's awesome. So the Token Terrors Chronicles of Chaos. It has there's a thank you on the back, but it's a comic book. It's a little comic book that I'm assuming explains the story of the world. On the back, it says, a message to all those who backed and supported our Kickstarter. Okay, so this was originally a Kickstarter game too. Thank you. Your support of Token Terrors Battlegrounds has validated our hard work and given us the resources and confidence to begin our journey of becoming the game design studio and publisher that we aim to be. Thank you. Our vision for Token Terrors started as a durable dice-sized mini monster, but they've become so much more. There is a vast universe of Token Terrors to be explored, and with powerful warlords like you behind us, there is nothing we cannot conquer. Token Terrors will be an ongoing flagship property from Terrible Games, with regular releases each year with your help. And we're also working on other new creations that we think you'll really love. As a first-time publisher... so this was their first thing. Okay, cool. As a first-time publisher, we took a lot of risks and even broke some industry rules. But because of people like you, Terrible Games is a reality, and it really means the world to us. Consider this comic book our collective love letter to you dear backers, playtesters, rules editors, artists, friends, and family. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Warlords, we couldn't have done this without you. Terribly yours, John, Tim, Phil, Shannon, and Lucas. That's awesome. That's awesome, and I can't wait to read that later. I'm not going to do a sing-along, read-along with you, but all right, let's take a look at the stuff. All right, so in this we have the necessary silica gel pack. We have a big chunky D6, and then we have two. Oh wait, we have two D6s, but these are special D6s. I can see. So there's these two, and they have, so they look like the regular pip sides thing, but then on the opposite side, there's a 1/X. I don't know what that means. Obviously, it's going to be something in the game. But, there's that. We have a little coaster-style pack that has, he said something at the table about this, or at the booth about this. So these are sticker sealed legacy style card packs. Basically, each one of these little envelopes has a sticker on it that matches to, I assume, one of the factions. And there is something in the game, in the rule book. Oh, I can't get them back in there. There's something in the rule book that talks about, as you play the game, as you do things, you get to unlock this cool stuff. Kind of a legacy style game, but it's not necessarily a one-use thing. We have this folded up. This is, oh my gosh, how flippin' cute is this battlefield? So it's a cardboard little battle zone for the game. Like I said, it's just designed to be a cute little one-off thing. But then it folds up, gets it back in the box. Now on the bottom here we have token talents. All right, let's take a look at the token talents. Again, very good component quality. Like these are not, they're like almost like satin finish, like fiber core cards. So we have a Token Terrors Battlegrounds quick reference guide. So it's got a how to do your turn. That's cool. And then we've got, it's like 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7? All right, so there's 7. So there's 7 talent faction cards. We have soldiers. They are melee typical humans. In a realm filled to the brim with monsters, the human spirit and some high-quality weapons can still turn the tides of battle. And then on the back of their thing, so there's the front image, and on the back it's got their token talents. So they've got, they can march, and they have phalanx. Okay. Then we have the wyverns. And it says, wyverns are ranged, typical animals. Listen close for the shrill call of the wyvern. Being at the top of the food chain means sometimes they hunt us just for fun. Their talents, they have take flight and rush. I'm assuming it's going to be stuff that happens in the game. We have the flying machines. Little robot dude. They are ranged, typical machines. It's hard to decide which is worse, the never-ending whirring buzz they produce or their constant pestering pings of pain. Their token talents, they have build and swarm. Then we have elves. See, even the art has these guys, they're kind of like big-headed and short to match the style of the little figures. They have ranged, typical fae. To those who respect their domain and power, the elves offer safe passage. To all others, a well-aimed arrow. And they have teamwork and sharpshooter. Then we have the zombies. Might be a little harder to see, but... zombies, melee typical, undying. Yes, they're slow, and yes, they're dumb, but they are many. So many, and damn are they hard to kill. They have undead and infect. Then we have the goblins. Goblins. They are melee typical fiends. As savage as they are reckless, underestimation of a goblin will likely be your last mistake. And they have enable and incite. And the last one, we have Swamplins. Melee typical fiends. Few goblins are green, but those that are seem predestined for a short existence of chaos and blood. And they have spear, skewer, and kickstart. All right. All right, so I don't know what any of that means yet, but here's to. Then we have these two. So these are they call them the grave bags. So they're effectively dice bags that have a cool little scene around it. That is... there's a lot of names on the headstones. And they look like real names. So I don't know. Like, they're not funny names. It's actual, like, people. So I'm going to assume that these are people that the staff know and wanted to either immobilize them through their game. Immortalize them through their game. Or it is a kind of a memorial of people that they knew at some point. And there's two of those bags. The picture is the same. So the picture is the same all the way around. But the other one has token terrors in it. All right, so we are going to put the bags back in here for now. We'll figure out what that stuff does in a minute, and we'll take a look at the tokens. All right, so obviously the tokens match up to the various things I just read. So, and it doesn't look like the tokens are different. They are 6 of the same style token. Each one has 6. No, 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So here's the little machines. They're so freaking cute. It's like a little tank with a helicopter thing on it. And like a knight's, like the faceplate on a knight's helmet. Very cool. So we'll put those guys there. We have the red goblins. Little angry guy. But look how this is what brought me over to their table. And the other thing is they're hard plastic. Like, they're not poured resin. They're not, as far as I can tell, they don't look like they're 3D printed. They're like Hips plastic. but whatever they are, they're awesome. And they're well detailed for. I mean, it's super deformed style to be these little token chunkies, but they're very well detailed as far as like what. Here, let me get back. There you go. Come on. Focus. Focus. But like what they are is very detailed. Like, you know, are they 40K figures? Absolutely not. But because they are basically meeples, you know, like this, here's a little one of the elves, you know, and he's got his bow and his quiver on his back, you know, pointy ears, the whole 9 yards. And there's 6 of those. And then we have, these are the swamp goblins, the swamplands, which I'm looking at it, and they are the same. Are they the same sculpt as the regular goblin? They are. So these are the same. The swamplands are the same sculpt as the regular goblin, just in a different colored plastic, which. Maybe that was a Kickstarter stretch goal or something. But what I like about that is that means that as a company, they can build new factions based off of different colored versions of their existing stuff, and it gives them expandability, the ability to go further with their stuff. Like if they wanted, you know, they've already got the zombies. If they wanted to do like a thing of ghouls, they could do like a sickly yellow or like a neon green or something, but use the zombie art or sculpt. Here's the little soldiers. Oh, that's hard to see. Let's see if I can get that less shining light. This is a little soldier with his sword and shield. And what else do we have here? Speaking of zombies, we've got the zombies. Zombies might be a little hard to see too because they are in black. Oh my god, he's super cute though. Oh no, he's come on good. He's little skull. His mouth is super open. He's like a little Pac-Man zombie. I love it. I love them. All right. And the last one in this main box is the wyverns, which again, adorable little super deformed. You know, feet forward, mouth open, wings on his back. Very cool, very, very cool. So, like I said, they're just very cute little, I hate to reiterate, but there's little tokens, and they're tokens in the best way. So yeah, we'll take a look at this, and now I'm going to flip through this here rule book, just as get a quick concept. So before we play into the game, let's learn about the game's namesake, the terror tokens, or token terrors. Activation and facing. Throughout this game, you'll activate your token terrors, or just tokens for short, to make them do stuff. To show this, you'll turn your token to adjust its facing. A token turned forward is fresh. It can still be activated. A token turned backward towards you is resting. It cannot be activated. A token turned sideways is readied. It cannot be activated and is tracking some kind of special effect. So basically something special about that dude by you having him turned sideways. So there's really effectively 3 facings. Tokens come from various factions and have either melee or ranged battle styles, as well as unique token talents. A note on faction selection. If you're a beginning warlord, I'd advise a mix of 2 factions, 1 melee and 1 ranged, with a split of 5-5 or 6-4. If you're feeling adventurous, you can try more challenging mixes such as 3-3-4 or 6-2-2. As you'll learn, though, your tokens become more powerful when you keep tokens of the same faction adjacent to each other. So this will provide a tougher challenge. Okay, so basically, you play with 10. Looks like 10 in the bag. 10 in your grave bag is your force. So you have to at least have 2 factions, and you split them however you see fit. And then the more factions you include in your force, you'll have more access to cool token abilities, but you won't be able to get as many grouped up to get the benefit. All right. Very cool. All right. Setup. Meet for battle. Place the battleground board between the players. This is where the action will happen. Each player should be seated across from each other. The evasion die is the big orange 1 through 6. The surge die is the green pip one with the weird thing. Determine the first player. They roll the evasion die. Higher player who rolls higher goes first. Set your surge dice. Each player takes a surge die and sets it to show the 1 pip face up and away from them, showing that they have 1 surge point. You will rotate this die to different faces as you gain and spend surge points throughout the battle. If the X is facing away instead of the 1, you have 0. Oh, cool. Okay, so rather than a die that you roll, it's just basically a point counter. I get it. Draft your army. The first player selects up to 1 to 6 tokens from any one faction. Once you have drafted even as few as 1 of the available factions, your opponent cannot draft tokens from that faction. Tokens left in the draft pool from a faction you've already selected can be still drafted by you later. Second player chooses 1 to 6 tokens from one of the remaining factions. Players alternate drafting until each player has 10 tokens. Okay, so you put out all your dudes and you sort of bag them in, but you can't mix factions. Or, well, you can't have the same faction against each other, which makes a lot of sense because the whole point of this is if you've got a bunch of the same faction together, they get bonuses. So if both people could have the same faction, then you'd be giving bonuses. So okay, that makes sense. Each player places their drafted tokens in a cemetery bag and shakes the bag to randomize the ranks. The cemetery is where your destroyed tokens will go once they fall to battle. Prepare your tokens. Each player must shake out 5 random tokens from their cemetery bag and place these tokens in front of them. These are your starting ranks. Take out the remaining 5 tokens from each cemetery bag and place them in the reserve spaces of their faction's talent cards. Oh, okay, so those cards are reserve spots. If a player doesn't like their starting ranks, they may spend their starting surge point to repeat this step from the beginning. Okay, so surge points are going to be important, but you could use yours if you're kind of mulligan who you drew out of the bag. Place your tokens, starting with the second player. Players alternate placing a single token from their starting ranks on any space in the first 2 rows of their side of the battleground. All tokens enter their battleground fresh. Alright, so sounds like the turn is easy. Refresh, ready your troops. If any of your tokens are resting or readied, you may refresh any number of them. 2. Activate. Position, battle, and win. Each turn, you must activate 1 fresh token and perform 3 commands. No less. You can repeat a command unless otherwise stated, such as enrage being once per turn. Commands are detailed starting on page 8. Here are the commands you can issue. Move, enrage once a turn. Battle, use talent, once per turn, per talent. 3 is spend, push your token further. As you've completed 3 commands, you may spend surge points to make your activated token perform extra commands. Remember, you start the game with 1 surge point. 4. Rest. After you've completed your commands, either rest your token by turning it towards yourself and gain 1 surge point, or leave it fresh and able to evade ranged attacks. Certain commands will leave your token ready instead of resting or fresh. You do not gain a surge point from readying a token, and readied tokens cannot evade. 5. Reinforce. If you have 4 or fewer tokens on the battleground, add tokens from your reserves to any unoccupied space on the edge of the battleground until you have 5 tokens on the battleground. Oh, so you can put them on any edge when you reinforce. When your turn ends, the other player begins their turn. Alternate your turns until a victor emerges. How to win. You win by destroying all of your opponent's tokens. If your opponent has no tokens on the battleground or in their reserves, you win the game. Cool. All right. So yeah, basically it's almost kind of chess-like in the way that you move your little dudes around. You must do 3. You must take 3 actions with them. They must do their thing, and then you figure out how to do these actions. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of it, but basically you move around and do very simple actions. So like some of the factions here, we're talking about the Wyverns. They've got their talents: take flight, move this wyvern exactly 3 spaces. So that is a talent. Remember, you can do the token talent once per turn per talent. So one of your wyvern can do that once. He also has rush. The next time this wyvern battles this turn, it has a range of 3. So it just increases its better. It makes it a better range. Yeah, it's just a very neat little a little back and forth game. It goes hopefully very quick. I plan to try and get a game of this in the next week or so, and I'll tell you how this goes. But so far, I think that it's a very fun. Oh, you know what? I wanted to look. There we go. Terrible Tactics and Gruesome Challenges. Terrible Tactics and Grudge cards are double-sided cards with a story on one side and a new and exciting rule on the other. Tactics rely on the tactics tile when in play, while grudge cards are passively active, provided that one of each of the feuding factions are on the battlefield. Terrible Tactics. Tactics are paired with the Terrible Tactics tile, a two-sided tile that's neutral on one side and active on the other. A tile is placed neutral side up in the center space of the battleground. This tile will denote which player does or doesn't have use of their tactics ability, also known as having mastery of tactics. When in the neutral state, no player has mastery of tactics. If a player has mastery of tactics, their opponent does not. Okay, so one person has it to the other. There are 3 ways to gain mastery of terrible tactics. 1, capture. If a player moves an active token on top of or over the tactics tile, they now have mastery of tactics. 2, slaughter. If a player kills 2 enemies in the same turn, they gain mastery of tactics. But only if the tactics tile is already active and your opponent doesn't currently occupy the tactics tile. 3, bribe. If you spend all 3 of your starting commands plus 1 surge point, you may claim the mastery of tactics, but only if the tactics tile is already active and your opponent doesn't currently occupy the tile. Cute. Okay, so there's just a little, it's the tactics tile is a little thing you put on the board, and it gives you a little back and forth. Tactics cards display, oh, hang on. What'd I miss? Oh, the player that has the mastery of tactics flips over and reveals their terrible tactics card, indicating that their tactic is now active. When a tactic is made inactive, it's flipped back over to the terrible tales side of the card. So there's basically like a story, and then there's a thing that happens with the story on the other side. Tactics cards display text on the back side that features terrible tales about the shared history between 2 specific factions. The face-up side, revealed when you have a mastery of tactics, features art and mutually beneficial tactics rules that your paired factions can utilize, provided that the player has met these prerequisites. The player controls the 2 featured factions and has at least 1 unit from each faction on the battleground. Also, they have the mastery of tactics. Challenges. Each terrible tactic and grudge card is sealed inside a challenge envelope, those things I showed you earlier, within the war chest tuck box. Each seal features an insignia that corresponds to one of the 12 preceding challenges listed in the next section. Complete a challenge during a Battlegrounds clash to reveal the tactic you desire. So, basically, oh cool, in the rulebook, there are terrible tactics and gruesome grudges that, in this case, terrible tactics, so it's got the picture of elves and soldiers. So if I had both elves and soldiers on the battlefield, and I'm controlling the tile, I can activate this, I flip it over, or I open the envelope and I flip it over, and it's called the Alliance of Elves and Men. Challenge, reveal this tactic if you win 2 games with at least 1 soldier and 1 elf on the battleground. And the way they've done this is brilliant, is in the rulebook there's little check boxes that show that you've played the game enough that this has happened. So yeah, in theory, you could go in and just open all these boxes, or just open up all the envelopes and be like, blah, 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 no big deal. But I think part of the fun is going to be, playing this game and trying to see how that goes. And I know we're getting close to time, but I wanted to go ahead and open my grab bag, my Season 1 faction surprise, because he had a lot more than 7 factions on his table, that's for sure. And we'll see who we got. All right, what did we get? All right, so pulled it all out. We have, another quick reference guide, which we don't need that because I've got the main book. What we have here exactly what I was saying is, so it comes with, in a little bag, it comes with the little machines, except this time it's the little machines in gold. And they are the ornithopters. They are range typical machines. I can find the thing. I can't open the envelope because I am bad at this. All right, so they are ranged typical machines, and their card. So their card is not quite the satin style card of the originals. It's a little bent from being in a envelope, but it's not blind draw, so it's not a big deal. They have the token talents of Smog Spray and Transistor. And their quote is, outdated relics? Yes. Catastrophic clatter and calamities? Also yes. Cool. I will probably end up getting more of these, whether it's because I see these guys or I order them online, whatever the case may be. I'm definitely going to back the Kickstarter, and I hope that they have because while I like this tiny little box that the initial thing came in, I do believe that if I got 5 or 6 more of these guys, I would probably need I would probably need a bigger box as things move along. But that I'm very happy with this, and I'm ecstatic to show you guys the game. Or to explain how the game goes down the road. But either way, Token Terror Battlegrounds, very, very cool. I am very much looking forward to getting to play it and tell you what's up. Until further notice, check out their website, order some stuff from them. And hell, maybe you guys might get a game in before I get a chance to. And put in the comments below if you've heard of these guys, if you've played them, or if you're going to buy them and play it yourself. Whatever the case may be, show them some love. And if you follow them on social media or whatever, like I said, they've got a Season 2 Kickstarter coming soon. I look forward to telling you more about that in the future. And hopefully we will get a chance to maybe even prop those guys up to really show them some love, because that's it means a lot to me for good people making good stuff to do good things, and I really think that they've got a winning combination of cute and inventive. And I look forward to doing more with them. And who knows, maybe I'll reach out to them and see if there's anything that I can do on my end for their Kickstarter. Who knows? We'll see. But until then, until next time, please be safe. Wash your hands. Try and stay positive. Don't lick doorknobs. Get your shots. All the things that try and make you a better human. Just really kind of make every room a little happier than when you got there, and I think that we'll all end up being okay. So next week will be, I think we're going to probably have a more deep conversation about the gaming industry and stuff next week, but until then, please, please, please go play some games and have some fun, because you know I will. Bye, guys.